remarks, our systems are not failed systems. There is room for improvement, of course. There's always a need for us to move forward because context continues to change, but systems are not failed per se. Secondly, agricultural producers are the key link in the chain of agri-food systems. These agricultural producers need long-term policies, which calls for differentiated strategies that take account of family farmers and include them as well as young people, women, rural dwellers, and all of those stakeholders that bring the rural milieu to life. Finally, and number 4 is the importance of trade. And this is a constructive comment, we feel that there is need for boosting there, because without trade, there is no food or nutritional security. 1 out of every 3 tons that are traded internationally come from our region, and that's of fundamental importance to us. Next, there's science as a fundamentally important input to inform a healthy policy making for the long term. And that is where we had a great deal of consensus at the pre-summit event in Rome, but that ICA would like to drive home once again. Next, there's the fact that consumers are king, right? The consumer is king. We all want for diets to be more balanced, better balanced, with a good percentage of animal protein, fats, carbohydrates. And to do that, the states need to launch educational campaigns and preventative campaigns, etc., information campaigns, and we'll continue to lend our support to that. We need sustainable and resilient systems in place. And during the previous session, we saw how important this is for Caribbean and Central American systems to have resilient systems in place. And that is why I would like to underscore the issue of vulnerability to climate change and natural disasters in the northern triangle of Central America and the Caribbean, especially in the Eastern Caribbean and Haiti, which is especially worrisome. Also, agriculture is part of the solution. It's a strategic sector that brings together mitigation and adaptation. And then finally, there is public-private investment. We feel that there is a need for state policy to be put in place to support the importance of intersectoral work, and also with the decisive involvement of the private sector. At ICA, ICA did play a very active role at the pre-summit with the countries, and I was so proud to take part in the first forum of ministers and secretaries of agriculture of the Americas. We have 5 female ministers, women ministers. That was the first event of that nature. We have Minister Teresa Cristina, the Minister of Ecuador, also Chile, Antigua and Barbuda, and Canada. They're all women. There are about 12 women deputy ministers, and we feel that this is a fundamentally important platform to lend visibility to women and their issues. And this is a matter that ICA is fully committed to working on. And also at the pre-summit, we had a ministerial meeting with 32 countries to discuss agri-food systems and those 16 messages. And let me express my thanks to the government of Brazil and Minister Teresa Cristina, because these 2 events, which were hybrid, in person, and online, were carried out at the beautiful premises of the Brazilian embassy in Rome. Aside from that, I was lucky enough to participate in panels about science and innovation, the role of small and medium-sized enterprises, and agricultural trade. That's where we expressed ICA's views on behalf of the countries, as is always the case. Finally, there are a few other issues that I'd like to bring to your attention, and a couple of ideas that I'd like to share with you. First of all, we need to continue to work to consolidate the Americas as leaders, not only at the UNFSS, at COP26, CBD, G20, and all fora where there is a need for us to bring that strength, that conviction, that political will expressed by the ministers of agriculture of ICA through the 16 messages, because I am convinced that we are a fundamentally important stakeholder in promoting food security around the world, and also promoting our engagement in building coalitions and partnerships and commitments around the globe. The worst thing we can do is to stay behind and isolated. And I am certain that that is not what the ministers want. And that is why I would like to draw your attention to the participation of this hemisphere in every forum. Next, how to go from consensus to action. We believe that ICA can contribute by creating a policy observatory about agri-food systems and the quest for a more sustainable and socially inclusive agriculture, one that interacts more with nutritional aspects. And we feel that by building a network with the excellent universities that we have on our continent, ICA would be in a position to, and should be in a position to, act as a very good policy observatory when it comes to agri-food systems. Secondly, my suggestion is to develop a network for the training of human resources together with academic institutions, universities, to create a roster of human resources and human talent that is duly trained to rise up to the challenges. Then in terms of sustainable production systems, Minister Teresa Cristina talked about sustainable livestock production, and that's one thing that we need to work together on. And we need to make the case for it based on science, good communication, good publications. We need to make a case for the sustainable nature of these for these livestock production models, especially when well managed. Tropical agriculture and science, technology, and innovation are also paramount, and ICA has a long track record in that field. The concept of One Health, recognizing the interactions between human, environmental, and animal health. We have a program in place meant to reverse the infertility of the soils under Professor Ratan Lal. And I think this is a process that we need to move along on. Also, digital inclusion of rural areas, together with Dr. Michael Kremer at the University of Chicago. We have a program there that calls for several specific actions in Brazil, Colombia, and other countries. We need to continue to promote the bioeconomy as a major bridge between production and environmental aspects. Trade is also of the essence, and actions geared towards solving territory-specific problems, especially the Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean, and the Northern Triangle of Central America. Also, development related issues and policies at macro and micro levels. In view of how rich we are in natural resources and how developed our agri-food systems are, into the future, we are called upon to be the guarantors of global environmental sustainability and food security and nutritional security. And I think we're well suited to do that here at ICA. And that's one of the 16 messages that we have. And finally, let me reiterate how proud I feel to be part of a region with a common position on how to tackle the issue of agricultural agri-food systems, and we were just the conduit for it, and we were the ones who brought everybody around the table so that the ministers could express their own will. That's all I have for you, Madam Chair. And I'd like to thank you for the everything that has been done thus far. And we are aware that after New York, other and greater challenges await us. Thank you.
Obrigado, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Manuel Otero, for your very interesting presentation. Next on the agenda, we will go into the dialogue.